Welcome to the Gold Medal Girls podcast, part of the Women's Sports Podcast Network. I'm your host, Delaney Thibodeau. Gold Medal Girls is all about sharing the experiences of women in sports, including athletes, coaches, trainers, sports psychologists, executives, and tons more. We're here to promote these amazing people to build more and more support for women in sports. Be sure to listen as episodes will drop every other Tuesday, and I'll be interviewing a woman in athletics so we can learn more about their lives and amplify their voices. I hope you're as excited as I am to hear what they have to say. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Welcome back to Gold Medal Girls. Welcome back to episode 3 of Gold Medal Girls. In this episode, you'll hear from Andrea Young, who played national level soccer. She's also a distance runner and a competitive boxer. We talked about a lot of things, like what is it like to get punched in the face for the first time? We also talked about her recommendations for race training and the freedom that she found from trying a variety of different sports. Andrea is a super close friend of mine, and I'm so grateful to her for doing this interview. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Here's my conversation with Andrea Young. So, Andrea, thank you so much for coming on Gold Medal Girls. So nice to see you.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
I'm so excited. And of course, I know you personally, so this is like extra level of excited conversation. So you're a boxer as well as a runner. How do you balance the training demands of both of those sports?
Honestly, boxing is sort of like the main sport, so that's always my priority.
Okay.
And my schedule will revolve around it.
Mm-hmm.
Running sort of becomes supplementary training. So
Okay.
more for fun. It's my social time. But at the same time, I know the importance of running and the benefits it can have on boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So training for running sort of helps with my conditioning as well. But it's not as important as the training that I would do for boxing.
Gotcha. And how many days are you training for boxing? How often are you in the gym for that?
It changes. So when it's just a regular week, it would be maybe 3 times a week.
Okay.
But then when we're going closer to a fight, when we get into training camps and stuff, that might be 4 or 5 times a week.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of time. And then time for recovery and everything too in there.
Yeah, the recovery is probably the part I'm bad at.
Okay.
Because I do add so many things into my schedule.
Okay.
But I try to have at least one day where I'm not doing anything. That way I can actually properly rest and roll out and stretch and stuff like that. Yeah.
Amazing. How often do you go for runs then? Because obviously you and I go to the same run club one day a week.
Yeah.
Are you running outside of that?
When we're in training camp, it's just a 1 day a week.
Okay.
But if we're not, then probably 2, 3 times a week that I get out there.
Very nice. Do you have a preference between being in the gym where you're kind of maybe cathartic in a way versus running more like, I mean, I know it's like social time at the run club, but when it's like on your own, kind of just you and your music or whatever you might be listening to, do you have a preference?
Not really.
Okay.
I think there's always a reason I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in the gym, there's like a purpose behind it. I'm training for a reason. I'm not really there for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then running, like I might be out just to relax, but I honestly think most of the times when I'm running, I'm with people. So I'm still sort of getting that social time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of the time I'm dedicating for that, for my friends.
Yeah. I don't know if you find this, but like I know that when I go running, if I'm running by myself, I run faster, but if I'm with other people, I run farther.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why we do that. I think just we try to push ourselves and we feel like we're not doing enough when it's just us.
Right.
And then when you have someone with you, it's like, okay, I don't necessarily need to push because I can maybe go at their pace instead of my own.
Right.
But you want to always enjoy the moment and it becomes a lot more fun. On my own, I'm like, okay, I'm here to train. Like, why am I doing this? I'm training. So I'm gonna probably like go faster, shorter distances. But the social time with the friends and we're just out for an afternoon, just running. It's really good.
I do appreciate when you go my pace with me because I am far slower than you and I appreciate it. You're a good friend.
No, I love having opportunities to run slow.
Glad to provide that for you. So when you're training with boxing, are there specific skills that you kind of work on, or what does it look like when you are training?
So my coach sort of decides what our training is going to be about.
Yeah.
However, there are times when, there's something personally that I want to work on, whether it's keeping my hands up or the movement or staying relaxed or working on a certain punch. There's always so many things that I can improve on. So though I'm not actually deciding what we're doing in a training session, there is always another thing in the back of my mind that I want to focus on.
Okay.
my coach can often tell when I'm trying to focus on something. He's like, I can see your brain going. Could you just not think and just do it? But he tends to sort of add in different things. So whether it's conditioning or we're working on counter punches or multiple punches, there's always something, some focus of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're the one deciding.
They're the ones for the most part deciding.
Okay.
I just do.
Yeah, you're just you then.
Like, I don't know boxing. Just tell me what to do.
Where do I hit something? That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
So when you're in training, is it just you and your coach, or are you training with other people? Are you practicing fighting other people? What is that like?
Yeah. So we have a whole team.
Okay.
Yes. And luckily they're both guys and girls on this on our fight team.
Okay.
So we all train together. Except for when it's leading up to, like, we're in training camp leading up to a fight, then my coach might put some one-on-one sessions in.
Okay.
And then it's just him and I, we're working on something specific. But for the most part, I am with the team.
Okay.
Fighting against girls, fighting against guys, lots of sparring.
Yeah.
So that's like you're in the ring, you're hitting each other like a fight.
Okay.
But it's not as hard.
Okay.
And it's more about learning from it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We do that against our own teammates, but then in training camps, we also go to a different gym and spar against some other females, different weight classes, different skill levels as well, different styles, just to get a look at everything so you can really prepare, because you never know what you're going to walk into when it comes to a fight.
Right. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It is. I was really intimidated the first time we went to a different gym.
Sure.
I was scared. Like, I had no idea who these girls were, and I'm new to the boxing world.
Okay.
So walking in to another gym and knowing that, okay, these girls fight and they're gonna come at me because, one, I'm coming into their territory.
Sure.
So they need to
they've got the
stand
whole
their
advantage.
ground.
Yeah.
And they've got the experience on me. A little bit scary.
Sure.
But I think just my personality and the other girls as well, outside of the ring, we're friends.
Sure. Yeah.
And we are friends now. Like, we support each other. But once we're in the ring, it's okay, we're competing, we're gonna train hard, we're gonna try to make each other better.
Right.
So definitely scary, but now I really enjoy it. Even when other people come to our gym, like, I love having it. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming. This is like, I need this.
Yeah. Are you a competitive person?
Very.
Okay. I can imagine that all of that gets very competitive, and probably just in training when there's all these other teammates around. It's like your teammates, obviously, but I imagine there's a little bit of maybe wanting to be the best.
Yes, there's definitely lots of competition.
Yeah.
We've hit some hurdles sometimes. It's like, ooh, maybe too competitive points. But I think with my team now, we've gotten to know each other and we respect each other enough that I'm no longer the new person that's come in, and they don't need to sort of protect their spot at the gym. Like, really, we're all there to learn, to train, and grow together. So we're competitive, but we're respectful with it, and there's purpose behind anything that we're doing now.
Yeah, that's nice. And I've always heard that about the fighting sports, is that they are very respectful sports. Do you find that even like with competitors, or is it sometimes where it's like, no, we're fighting this out?
There are sometimes when you lose a little bit of that respect and you're really competing. Yeah. I would say that's more within an actual fight, though.
Okay. Yeah.
As opposed to training.
That makes sense. Yeah. You don't need as much fire maybe when you're training.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. And then to kind of switch away from boxing just for a second, I saw that you were on your university soccer team, and you also played for the Trinidad and Tobago national soccer team as well. How did that happen?
Wow. Soccer was, I would say, it's probably something I was always in my life, kind of saved my life at one point.
Okay.
So I gave everything to it. But at the same time, I felt that I didn't get much back from it.
Okay.
So in university, I gave everything to the sport. I set records, I got awards, but I didn't ever feel like my team really saw what I was putting out, what I was giving to them, and what I was really contributing. And they didn't really believe in me. So the Trinidad thing, because I had no intention to really play at a high level. I didn't know what was really out there until very late in life, like almost going into universities, when I was like, oh, you can actually play soccer in university. There's something more than just competitive in like your club leagues. Right. So playing for Trinidad was my way to prove that hey, you guys may not acknowledge what I'm good at, but
they will.
They will. And I'm going to show you that I can do this.
Good for you.
So I went there, I played. It was really a great experience. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good to just be home.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that an experience that you would suggest to like other people like that might be feeling that way, is to seek outside of the university?
Yes. I would say if you ever feel like you're not being recognized somewhere, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're valued, like go where you're valued,
Yeah.
And that's something we say even in general, not only about sports.
Right.
Right? You're not, one person doesn't see your value here, go somewhere else.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. But it's great to always sort of push yourself to go to a higher level.
Yeah.
You're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to really know if that's something you want to do. And then from there, you can make your decision of how far you want to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is such a good message that, we all do have something valuable to contribute. So go where that's going to be seen. What were some of the standout moments from your experience with the Trinidad team?
Honestly, World Cup qualifiers 2018.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a good one.
It was good. It was good. For one, I grew up in Canada. So my family in Trinidad had never seen me play.
Oh.
So this was so good for them. They took so much pride in having me play on the team. They would tell everyone that I'm playing, and like they'll snip the newspaper articles, and like it was so sweet.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed having them watch me for the first time ever.
Yeah. Did you feel like that motivated you as you were playing?
It did.
Yeah.
I put so much more into it. A little caveat is that I was super injured.
Okay.
I could hardly walk without pain, but I really wanted to play in that tournament. So I sucked it up. I took my Advils and I went and I played just so that they can see me. But yeah, it was good, and I have made friends with those girls, even though it's competitive, because when you get to that level, you are all competing for your spot and you want to make a name for yourself because maybe there's other opportunities that are going to come from it. So yes, very, very competitive. That part, I think maybe I wasn't as competitive as some of those girls.
Okay.
Which is weird because I'm normally like the most competitive one.
Okay.
But it still pushed me, and it was just a great experience being there as a whole.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's interesting that how you're saying like having the family members there who had never seen you compete before was like a really helpful kind of thing for you. I have the opposite experience when I'm playing sport in front of people I know. It was I had a friend who came and watched. I was at a gymnastics tournament in high school as well. And I told him the same thing. I was like, you cannot watch my floor routine. And he was like, well, that's why I'm here. And I was just like, I don't care. Like, absolutely not. And I don't know what that feeling was. Like, I don't know if I was like afraid of I don't know, letting them down or something. But I was like, absolutely not. You cannot look at me. And like it seemed like I always did better for it. I'll never actually know. But I think it's nice that you did feel that positive influence from having them there because it's like bringing in obviously they mean well for you too. So it's like you're just building on that's good spirit. So
yeah. It's also just being an inspiration for my younger cousins as well, right? Letting them know that, hey, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And they look up to me, so why wouldn't I set a good example for them and show them like you really can do anything if you want?
Absolutely. Especially now that you're in like a variety of sports too, that it's like you can try everything, give it a shot.
Yeah. I keep switching, so I'll be doing it in a few years.
Maybe competitive pickleball or something.
I haven't even picked up a pickleball racket. I haven't played, and I know it was a big thing. So maybe this summer I'll learn.
Yeah, there you go. Who's to say? Next year we'll come back to this. We'll say, all right, so you're at the world qualifier now. Yeah. Pickleball tournament. How's that going? Amazing. And so I guess we'll just continue then about like kind of the influences, you being an influence to your family members. Who were the people that influenced you to get into sport?
Well, I think I was always in sports.
Okay.
But when it comes to sort of going competitive, I had a school friend.
Okay.
And to this day, when I see her, I'm like, I cannot thank you enough for suggesting that I start playing competitive soccer at like 8 years old. Like, I would never have thought of doing that. Yeah. But she definitely got me into it. And then going through school, my coaches definitely helped keep me there. And then eventually it just became something that I wanted for myself. So, it became something that every time I'm going to train, it's training to get better.
Yeah.
Right. One day at a time, see how far you can go, how far you can take it, what level you can accomplish.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it seems like you're gifted with athleticism as it is. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely. I was blessed with some good genes and the family experience. Like my father was very athletic, did so many different sports as well. Yeah. So yeah, our whole family's pretty athletic and we like to compete against each other.
Is that fun or is that
It's super fun.
Okay, yeah.
I just love it. Like my oldest sister, she's probably, I always saw her as the strongest one in our family. But every time I would compete against her in something, I would win. And I just loved rubbing that in.
Yes, totally.
Like, I don't need to train. I'm just gonna come and beat you.
It's gonna be all the little motivation I need for a good little while. That's so funny. Yeah, my sister and I are very competitive as well. And I remember she's gonna be mad if she hears this, but she played tennis for a while, and I enjoyed playing tennis like for fun, not good at it or anything like that. And I remember asking her to play once because she was talking about how she had missed playing. I think it was over COVID. And I was like, oh, like I'll play with you. Like, let's go. And she's like, I want to play with someone who's good. And I was like, well, that's not me. Sorry about that. So when did you kind of make the switch away from soccer towards running, towards boxing?
Yeah, so during COVID, I decided to take a break from soccer just to heal from all those injuries that I never let heal.
Right.
But then it took a little bit longer than I thought.
Okay.
Like my knees were so bad that it took quite some time.
Okay.
I fully intended to go back to soccer, but after being away for that time, I'm like, I feel like I've been out of it too much. And people always said, oh, you're in your 20s, you're in your prime. I'm like, yeah, but you lose the touch.
Yeah.
And though you can gain it back, it's kind of like riding a bike. Not really, because everyone's conditioning is still going to be there. They're going to be working on new skills. And I felt like I was falling behind.
Okay.
So then it was probably 2023 when I first met a boxing coach. And I was like, maybe I'll switch to boxing.
Give this a try.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
She did respond by saying that might be career limiting, but you should still come to the gym. And I did. And that's sort of where it switched. So 2023, I started boxing really just for fun. And it was maybe once, twice a week.
Okay.
And then eventually it progressed from there as I saw results.
There you go. Were there challenges that you experienced in making that transition, like going from the healing process now into a new sport?
At first, because I still didn't want to give up soccer completely.
Yeah.
I still played sort of recreationally, but I was always getting injured.
Okay.
So that made boxing progress a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
But in terms of just challenges when it came to boxing itself, not really.
Okay.
I was just so happy to have another sport that I could maybe get good at and do competitively.
Yeah.
But really it was about keeping it fun and just staying in shape.
Totally. Yeah. Now, how did your body feel making that transition? Because I imagine the training is probably different between.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But a good difference.
Okay.
Because I found the first time I did a boxing class, my arms were killing me.
Yeah.
I was like, how? Why?
Yeah.
All these different muscles that you've never used before.
All those little ones in your shoulder too, I imagine. Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest one that you're gonna feel. But on top of that, it's the mental. Like I didn't realize how mentally drained I was after a class.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it because you're like, what are you focusing on?
Everything.
Okay, yeah.
So it starts at your feet, your foot positioning, then the rotation of your hips, and then are you throwing your punches properly? Are you turning them over? What's the combination? And are you moving? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot to think. Do you feel like now that is it easier to kind of feel all those things maybe more naturally now, or is it like... I
can feel it a little bit better,
yeah,
but I'm still having those moments where I'm like, okay, I need to just visualize this. What am I supposed to be doing? How should it look? How should it feel? And slow it down a little bit. But getting better at it for sure. It does become a little bit more instinctual.
Yeah, I imagine. But you also want to be, present and checking in probably with your body, I imagine too. Absolutely. And avoiding getting punched in the face as much as you can.
Yes. Yeah. Except I did realize that there's a different fire that burns inside you when you do get punched.
Okay.
So sometimes I want that, and I will literally give the person my face, be like,
yeah,
here's my face, try to punch it.
Uh-huh.
So, because that's going to get me going. That means I get to punch you.
Sure.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Okay. Do you remember what it was like the first time you got hit in the face? Because I personally have not ever been hit in the face, and I'm okay with that. But like, what was the experience there?
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you think it's gonna hurt, but it doesn't hurt as much as you think.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, there's something coming at your face, and oh, yep, I just got hit. I'm like, but I'm actually
And then
okay.
you kind of just keep going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I can take that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I know that, let me dish it out too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's do this. It's really a fun sport.
It sounds like a really empowering sport.
It is.
As well.
Yes, it totally is.
Yeah.
Not only do you know that you can take a hit and keep going, that you are strong, but I think the patience that comes with it as well, because you don't always want to just retaliate right away.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Boxing is also about strategy. So timing it properly, making them think that maybe they've won, and then you wait for your shot, and then you just give it to them.
Oh, it's like a mind game too. Wow.
Yeah, it really is.
That's so interesting. How long does a fight usually take, start to finish?
You're probably out there for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So at my level, we do 3 2-minute rounds.
Okay.
And then you've got a minute in between each round to rest. And then that's it.
And then
so
that's it.
It's over in a flash.
Wow. Does it feel like it's over in a flash, or does it feel like time slows down when you're...
It feels really long.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you're in there, it's 2 minutes. You really got to be on your game. So you're focused, locked in.
Yeah.
Ignore everything else. Watch every punch. Try to move. Try to remember everything that you've been working on and putting it together.
Yeah.
Plus the intensity of a fight goes up so much.
So
you feel everything. You feel your legs burning. You feel your arms getting tired. The punches, I feel like you don't feel it as much just because of the adrenaline.
Yeah.
But within those 10 minutes, it could feel like a long time.
Yeah.
But
how easy or hard is it to tune out people that are there? Like, are you hearing your coach's voice? Are you hearing anybody else's voice? Or are you just in your body?
So I lock in completely.
Okay.
I actually shut my phone off. Well, put it on Do Not Disturb probably a couple days before my fights happen.
Okay.
So the only person that can get through to me is my coach.
Okay.
Because we are locked in.
Right.
And then when it comes to the fight, I ignore everyone around, everyone outside.
Yeah.
And his voice is the only one that I hear.
Wow. Did that take practice, or was that something that, like, as you started, it was like that relationship with the coach?
It's the relationship that we've built.
Yeah.
But then also, you really need to focus. And even in training, you see when someone loses focus, what happens. So knowing the repercussions that can come from that really makes you know the importance of being focused. And for myself, I'm like, I don't want to get hit. Right?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm focusing in, and I do want to hear his voice, because he's going to see things that I can't necessarily see right in front of me. Right?
Yeah,
totally. So I want to hear those tips of what I should be doing, what they're seeing that I can work on to try to get a point here or there.
Right. And I guess, is it, we talk the respect versus the competitive edge of it. Is it so nice when you see them have a crack in their focus? Like, does that feel like an in for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to pounce on it.
So. Yeah, of course.
One little stumble, if they hear their coach talking and you can sort of see their eyes shift or their focus, they lean in. I'm like, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
That's so interesting. I mean, it is such a physical sport, obviously, but then, the mind game of it, that's so interesting.
Yeah. It's, conditioning, the physicality of it, but the strategy as well. Yeah. And that's a part that I still want to develop more in my game. Yeah. It's that strategy, reading it, because a lot of times my coach will tell me what they're throwing is because of what you're showing them. Right. Right. So you're actually dictating what the other person is doing. Yeah. It's like all reaction. Yeah. Yeah. So learning that a little bit more. And when you look at professionals and they fight, they set things up in the first 3 rounds, because they've got about 12 rounds to go. Sure. Right. So the first 3 rounds, they're starting to set things up so that later on they can take advantage of it. Yeah. Right. So that's one thing I do want to get better at is learning to set things up quickly.
Yeah.
And then taking advantage of it later on.
Yeah, that's so kind of setting yourself up as like, I'm the big one in the ring. Like,
yeah, exactly. You control it.
Right. So when you're with your team at a tournament or something like that, are you watching each other's fights, or are you like not really engaging out with the outside world? Like you were saying?
Depends.
Okay.
So before my fight, I'm probably not going to be watching anything.
Okay.
Because I'm just got my headphones in, I'm warming up,
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go. Plus, depending on our times of fight. Sometimes we're fighting at the same time, sometimes it's at different times, right? But once my fight is done, I'm supporting my team the whole way. So I'm going to watch your fights. I'm going to come cheer you on. I'm going to be telling you what you should be doing, what I'm seeing. When I get on the stage.
Yeah, you can hear it, but I've got ideas.
Yeah.
That's so fun. And as a woman in sports, are there any major barriers that you've come across kind of across your athletic career?
That's a tough one, because I think there's always barriers that women face in life in general.
Sure.
And then when it comes to sport, it's almost like everyone loves to see women compete, but there's always, I don't know if it's a lack of respect or a lack of really giving women what they deserve. You know, it's also difficult. I think people need to understand that as a woman, you're giving up so much to be an athlete.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have it all. Some people have figured out the magical way of having it all, which is great. I certainly haven't yet.
Yeah.
But trying to balance having a life, a social life.
Yeah.
Let's say building a family if that's what you want, along with full-time training in a sport.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of time, and it's a lot of physical demands as well, I think.
Yeah. So it's definitely something that is a barrier for a lot of people. They make the decision of, am I going to be an athlete, or am I going to be a woman in life? Am I going to have the life that I actually want in addition to that? And it can be a difficult choice to make.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there are such different kind of cultural expectations of women, especially women in sport. I think sometimes people have like lowered expectations for like what they think they're going to get out of watching women's athletics. And I think that's so bullshit. For lack of a better word. And I just think like in a lot of ways, like women have to work so much harder.
They do.
For the same, or even close to maybe the same respect that other people might be getting. Yeah. Athletics.
And pay as well. Like,
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's hard. But yeah. There's a lot that goes on, and a lot of things that women have to push through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fight through just to try to make it in this world.
Yeah. And it seems like your family has been really supportive of you in this. What was their reaction when you told them you wanted to do boxing?
Well, I think they're fine with me boxing, because I've always just wanted to try everything. Yeah. And I like sports. So they expect me to just do whatever sport I feel like doing. Sure. But they definitely did not expect that I would be fighting. I certainly had no intention of fighting. I had told myself, I'm doing this for fun. I'm going to work to get good at a new sport. And I'm not going to consider fighting until maybe the end of 2024. Okay.
And when did you start considering fighting? So you started in 2023, it's like a month after that.
It wasn't even my idea.
Okay.
Yeah. My coach in Ottawa, right before I moved to Toronto, suggested, hey, what do you think about a fight in the fall? I'm like, you're telling me this now as I'm leaving? What? Yeah. But that idea in my mind just made it seem like, okay, if she's saying that I might be ready for something coming up soon, let's actually see what we can do.
Totally. I mean, she's not going to want to put you in a bad situation, So like they're not going to put you up for something they don't think you're ready for.
Exactly. So then when I came to Toronto with this coach here, I think his idea is that I came because I wanted to fight. Yeah. That wasn't what I was thinking, but we're going to train that way anyways. Yeah. And then, he put me into the fight. I was like, my stomach instantly like churned. I'm like, am I ready for this? I think I doubted myself all the way up until the fight.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone else didn't. My family thought like, oh, you'll do great. We're so excited for this. They did a watch party. They were texting me the whole time. I'm like, you guys are more excited about this than I am.
What were the thoughts running through your head?
Well, I knew I was going in as an underdog. Okay. I had no fights, and the girls I was going to be fighting, they had 3, 6 fights. So I'm like, when you're at 6, you're almost at an open class. You're almost at that 10 and up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you've definitely got some experience there, right? So I was more worried about what are they going to come at me with? Because I trained with some of the best girls, like provincially ranked, Canada ranked. And I felt what they had. I'm like, okay, there's definitely things that I'm not in control of in this moment, fighting against them. So I think I expected my opponents to come in with a little bit more of that.
Okay.
Maybe a lot more of the 6, 7, 8 combos coming at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I defend that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But no, as a whole, it ended up being a great experience because I worked really hard. I trained as if I was going to be fighting the best in Canada.
Yeah.
Right. And that really prepared me.
Yeah.
So in the end, I was happy. I was able to prove that yes, everyone, they saw the right things and they believed in me, and I was able to actually accomplish what they believed in.
Yeah. So. Do you feel like that'll help you kind of feel a little bit more calm going into the next fight?
Well, the next fight is coming up pretty soon in a few weeks. So no, it's not calming me down. I know that this next one's going to be a different challenge.
Okay.
I'm going up in weight.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm trying to put on some size for this one.
Sure.
So I'm definitely expecting a bigger girl, lots heavier punches coming at me.
Okay.
I don't know how mobile she's going to be, how agile. I like to move around a lot. Yeah. So, some people like to just hunker down and throw those heavy punches. Not sure what style she's coming in at.
True.
But the weight difference, even though I train against some bigger girls, I know what the power can feel like in a fight. I know it's going to come even harder.
Yeah.
So that's probably the one thing that's worrying me.
Okay.
But I'm trying to just stay confident.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm training hard for this. I know I've got a set of skills that will probably be to my advantage.
Yeah.
So just lean into that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe it's one of those things where it's always a balance of what everybody's bringing to the table, your strengths with running and with the history in soccer, that is going to be an advantage that maybe they don't have, or, so I think what you're doing of staying as prepared as you can, training as if it's going to be the best or the most challenging thing, maybe that sounds like it's going to pay off. I think it seems like it did last time. So
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I do feel like there is a little bit more of an expectation now because I made such a name for myself with that debut.
Yeah.
Oh, now I really got to live up to this.
So what are some common misconceptions that people might have about boxing?
I think one of the biggest one is that it's a really violent and dangerous sport.
Okay.
When it's not at all. For one, there is protection, and we do have headgear.
Okay. Yeah.
We do wear mouth guards.
Yeah.
So we do take safety very carefully.
Yeah.
Something we focus on a lot. But also when it comes to females boxing,
yeah,
I think females are brought up to be sort of very soft, delicate.
Yes.
It's all about your beauty.
Yes.
And you're going to mess up your face if you're boxing.
Yeah.
Right? So that's probably one of the big things that they think that, you're going to mess up your face.
Okay.
Or you're really aggressive or angry. And that's why you're fighting. People fight because they want to get that anger out. But really, it's not about that.
Yeah.
And if that's how you go into a fight, you're going to lose.
Right. Because you're not focused at that point.
You're not focused.
Yeah.
You can't let the emotion drive you.
Right.
Right. So boxing is not so much an aggressive, violent sport. It's more a sport of strategy.
Interesting. It's like a chess match, it sounds like.
It literally is. And some coaches actually make their fighters learn chess and play chess because it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the different combinations and moves, like you were saying, that you need to be ready for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. I guess with because obviously I do think of the fear of getting hit in the face is one of the things that I would be worried about if I were to try it. I mean, are there places in your face that it's better to get hit versus I'm just thinking a punch straight to the face would hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, straight to the face would hurt. Your poor nose.
Yeah.
I find my eyes, if I get hit by my eyes, that's probably where I feel it the most. I do tend to have drier eyes. So if like a glove sort of skims my eye, that really irritates me.
Sure.
So the best place to be hit, be like wherever the headgear is.
Yeah.
So you have like maybe your forehead or temple area maybe.
Yeah.
By the ears, it kind of rings your ears a little bit.
Okay.
But you can sort of come back from that if you can manage that feeling for a moment.
Yeah.
Definitely want to try to avoid getting hit on the chin because that's where your head can twist and where all those really come from.
Yeah.
So avoid that. Yeah.
And thinking about that, it's not necessarily this like sport based in violence and things like that. I know you had said you experienced injuries with soccer. Do you find yourself feeling better kind of with boxing than you did with other sports?
Yeah, so far we haven't had any serious injuries.
Amazing.
I think it's also everything in boxing is about stability and positioning.
Okay.
So my body is often braced for any impact that it's going to get. So I've absorbed everything pretty well.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's as intense on the joints or anything.
Okay.
As compared to soccer or even running.
Yeah.
Because I'm not running around, I'm just sort of standing there.
Yes.
And it's only for 10 minutes max, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
what can really happen in 10 minutes?
I mean, nothing comes to mind. It's too crazy.
Yeah.
Versus, running. I mean, I know people saying like I've experienced you where like running, I think, especially if you're doing it incorrectly, it can be really hard on the knees. Do you find that that's ever like a challenge as you're balancing the running with the fighting? Like, do you have days where you're like, oh, maybe I overdid it or just ran wrong or something like that?
Yeah, there are days that I overdo running and then I feel it in boxing, but not so much on the joints. It's more just my legs are tired, which means I'm not going to be moving my legs as much in the ring, so I'm probably going to get hit a little bit more.
Okay.
So I just have to keep my hands up.
Yeah. With boxing, versus like other like the martial art kind of sports where there's like grappling involved and stuff, what drew you more to the upright nature of boxing, I guess?
Well, I did a kickboxing class during COVID.
Okay.
And that was fun.
Yeah.
I liked the idea of being able to use my legs. But I think the more traditional hands only just makes you have to hone in on skills a little bit more.
Yeah.
If I can use my legs, I feel like I'll cheat a lot.
Okay.
So it was a really good challenge for me to take that strength away and focus on something I've never done.
Yeah.
So try to develop that. So that's sort of why I leaned more to solely boxing. It's I need to work a different part of my body, use my brain differently, and not rely on strengths or skills and experiences I would have already had.
Yeah. Did you feel like do you feel like there are skills that kind of transferred from other sports that you tried into boxing?
Honestly, with all sports, there's always going to be skills that are transferable. I think with soccer, it would be conditioning.
Okay.
And also lower center of gravity.
Yeah.
The pivoting, the agility that comes with deking in soccer, moving that ball, quick feet, changing directions.
Yeah.
All of that really transitioned over super well.
Nice.
And that's probably one of my biggest strengths right now.
Yeah. And it's like, I think also like just the resilience of, it's hard. It is a hard sport on your body, I imagine, but I think it sounds like those experiences that you had before kind of helped you be ready for that. I think you're used to competition. You're used to training for a fight in boxing, but then also like a fight just in competition in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think my body knows how to work hard and knows how to take hard hits. People think soccer's a soft sport. It's not.
Oh, no.
So I definitely know how to push through any sort of pain, take a hit and keep going, or even just brace for it.
What strategies did you use to get comfortable with fighting as you were getting started?
Boxing was for fun.
Yeah.
It has to stay fun for me. So that's really the biggest thing. Try to keep it fun. In order to do that, I'm taking it slow.
Okay.
So focusing on the fundamentals, developing that from the ground up, not rushing too much.
Okay.
There's no need for me to, there wasn't any need for me to rush to fight, right? Because I know that if I don't have the proper training, I'm just going to get hurt, and that's not the intention here.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So yeah, just taking it nice and slow
Yeah.
and making sure that it's fun. And it's all about just getting better, learning, developing a love for a new sport.
Yeah.
That's been my thing. And sometimes I would watch reruns of pro fights. Like, how are they doing it? Ooh, that was a good combo. Let me learn that.
Yeah.
So that sort of helped me get more comfortable and find fun, as well as learning a little bit of moves when it comes to fighting and having that sort of educational knowledge,
Yes.
the film study to lean back on, as well as whatever I would practice in the ring, definitely helped me get a little bit more comfortable as well.
Yeah. Now, are there days that training is not so fun? Because I know you said like you're sparring sometimes you're in the gym. I know like conditioning days for me when I was doing gymnastics, we would have to go in on like Saturday mornings, and it was just like 2 hours of like what felt like at the time the worst possible exercises just over and over and over again. Obviously they were hugely beneficial for us and for practicing competition and things, but I remember those Saturdays, it was just like, oh God, here we go. We're going to be doing handstands for 5 minutes at a time. Like, ugh. Are there days like that that you're maybe not so keen on, or is it all just new and fun and exciting?
You know what? I'm actually a little bit crazy in my head because I absolutely love hard days. I love hard workouts. I love training. So if I was training for the rest of my life without having a fight, I would be so content.
Okay.
The fights for me is really just about showing what I've worked on.
Yeah.
Right? Putting it to the test.
Totally.
So there are not any days right now that I just don't like.
Okay.
I definitely have my moments where it might be even something that I love doing, but I'm just having personally a tough emotional day.
Yeah.
There have been times where I'm in the ring and I'm just bawling my eyes out and I can't stop it, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
So those days I don't like.
Yeah.
When I'm not in control of my emotion. But when it comes to actually training, I love it. Anything hard.
Yeah. It's gotta be so tough those days too, where it does feel like it's hard to kind of get a hold on the emotions because like, I don't know, does almost like a panic kind of set in that you're like, I can't focus and now I'm upset and now I can't focus because I'm upset and now it's just like this whole kind of thing.
It snowballs.
Yeah.
And like nothing's working. Why is it not working? I should be able to do this.
That's when you want to get hit in the face and then you're just back.
But even then, I'm like, hey, I know the punch is coming. I know I'm gonna hit, and what am I gonna do next? I know what I should do, but I try to do it and it's not working, and I'm just getting more upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there like strategies that you work with maybe with your coach or something like that to help kind of come back to yourself? Like, what do you do in those moments?
I think the one thing my coach will always tell me is whatever happens, leave it at the gym.
Okay.
This is your safe space. This is your family here. So, you could be having a really bad day.
Yeah.
Go punch it out on a bag.
Yeah.
And once you leave this space, it's done. It's over with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably the thing. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do try to just leave it all at the gym and leave it on the bag.
Yeah.
But if my mind is going, just try to focus on something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you imagine, things you're frustrated at? Like, are you like visually thinking about something that you're exerting against, or is it just kind of the abstract?
It's more abstract. Yeah. I'm not a violent person.
I know you're okay. I know you're okay.
What people say. Maybe imagine someone's face, a coworker that's pissed off. No faces come to mind, and I'm not seeing
anybody.
But I think that's actually one of the biggest shocks for me.
Yeah.
Is that when I fight, I don't feel anger.
Okay.
Like there isn't that angry moment. Like, I thought we're supposed to be angry in this sport.
Yeah.
I'm not angry. It's wrong.
It's like you said, like the focus and just like the competition.
Yeah. I love it. Once we're trying to compete, and there'll be moments in a fight, like at Branson Cup. I could see that she was tired in the final match. Yeah. And I can see that I was tired. And I had to think to myself, okay, how badly do you want this? Because in that moment, like, I'm not mad at you for anything. You've gotten this far. I've gotten this far. We've both proved ourselves. Like, but at the end of the day, it's who's going to come out on top?
Right.
Who wants more? I'm like, it's
yeah.
going to be me today.
Yeah.
So that's all that you're getting. You're going to get what I want to show skill and to get that achievable moment for myself.
Yeah.
But it's not about angry.
No. Do you think it speaks to that kind of like taking the control from the beginning? If you kind of go in, you're like, no, I'm gonna come out on top here. Like, this is my fight. I'm gonna win.
Yeah. It's at that point when you know that you're gonna win something, it's yours to lose.
Yeah.
So you really just got to stay in control and do everything you can. Make sure you stick to your game plan. That's the one thing that I think's huge. It's anything can happen. It can throw you off, but you need to know or remember to stick to the plan. Even if a shot comes your way that you didn't expect, stick to your plan.
Right.
And that's probably the best way that you're going to get through it.
Okay. And I think we're touching on some of this now. But you did recently take home the gold at the Brampton Cup. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
What are some of your biggest takeaways from those fights?
Honestly, it was that intensity changes.
Yeah.
People always warn me that like your first fight, you're gonna think you're in good shape, and then you're gonna learn you're not. Once that adrenaline hits, you're gonna be out there. It's gonna be so fast. You're gonna be so gassed, and like you're gonna go out too hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, guys, thank you so much. Yeah, that's all I can think about. Like, I thought I was in shape. I thought I was ready for this. But no. Remembering that I had a plan. Yeah. And not to rush it. And my coach reminded me of that after the first round of the first fight. He says, they're expecting you to gas out. Right. I said, all right, then let's not gas out. Yeah. Let's give them something that they're not expecting. Totally. And let's take advantage of that too, right? If they're thinking that they're going to push me so hard that I'm not going to be able to hold for the rest of the fight, I'm going to show you differently. I love a challenge. Yes. Oh, I definitely wanted to prove them wrong there. Yeah. But then also, I think when you're fighting, it's do or die. Yeah. And I tell myself all the time, it's kill or be killed. I know that the other person may not have the same respect for me that I have for them. Sure. They may not care about me, and they're really just there to win. Yeah. So knowing that aggression might be coming my way means that I just have to be even more focused, pay more attention to my positioning, my formation, every punch coming my way, what I'm doing, am I like moving, am I, all the defensive things. And one thing is defense for me and my game plan is that's priority. Okay. Defense first, and then the attack will come. Okay, interesting. It really does sound like it's so much a chess game. It is. In control. Yeah. And I never liked chess. I was never good at it. So this is probably a huge, huge challenge for me. Yeah. Knowing that this is a strategy sport and understanding the strategy behind it. Yeah. And getting good at it. Yeah. Yeah. And this is also a sport where it's, it's you and the other fighter versus on a soccer field, you're working together with a group. Yeah. What is that difference like? Honestly, I've always wanted to have an individual sport. Okay. Because I feel like with soccer and with a team sport, as much as you give, that may not necessarily be enough to actually help the whole team win. Okay. Right? And relying on someone else. Yeah, it kind of gives you an out sometimes when things don't go the way you would have liked it. But at the same time, it means that someone else's mistake could cost you. Right. So I was so happy to do an individual sport because I know that I have to take accountability for everything that happens. Yeah. Right? Like I win, great. It's because I put the work in and I did it right. Yeah. I lose. Well, better go back to the drawing board. That's on you. My coach had nothing to do with my loss. It's on me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's an interesting pressure to kind of take on, but I totally understand where that comes from. Yeah. I think just after all those years of playing soccer, I was just ready to be able to really show what I could do on my own. Absolutely. Yeah. Why not? And you're doing great at it so far. So again, very excited to see the next fight. Thank you. Boxing is a weight class sport, contrasted against running, soccer, which are not. What's been your experience with that as far as balancing training with also the demands for needing enough food? It could be difficult sometimes to get the food that I need because my budget doesn't change. Right. Yes. I'm buying the same amount of food. It's just how much can I ration it out, or am I going to have to just spend extra 1 month and eat more because I know I have to bulk, right? The training, because we go through different intensities of training, like right after a fight, you're chilling, right? You're going to recover, you're going to rest. So not as intense. So I don't necessarily need as much food. Right. And then when I'm cutting for a fight, I want to be light. Okay, I'm definitely not eating a lot of food. Yeah. Of course, the first week of that is going to be difficult because I'm going to feel the difference. Right. But then when I'm bulking, I'm like, oh, I get to eat any and everything. But then it's like, okay, I need to find more food. Yeah. Like, it's like, that's great for the first 2 days. Then it's like, oh, I'm going to the store again. Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to the rationing of food and making sure I'm getting enough nutrients and stuff, it can be a little bit difficult, but I'm getting used to it. Yeah. Honestly, though, I'm starting to really like the switch between the cut and the bulk. Okay. Just because I like having muscles. Yes. So sure. When I cut, I'm like, oh, I'm like ripped. I'm loving it. I'm flexing in the mirror. I'm enjoying having those muscles pop. Yeah. But at the same time, when I'm bulking, I'm like, okay, I actually get to experience a more relaxed body image. Yeah. More softer version. I'm like, I never really got to do this. So I'm loving that too. Okay. To experience the best of both worlds. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about body image for a second. As you know, I do body image research. Yeah. So it's near and dear to my heart. Can you speak to, I guess, like the ebbs and flows that you've seen with body image through those bulking and cutting phases, or just in general? Yeah, so definitely it could be difficult for some people because we're taught that maybe a woman should be one way, right? And if you're more muscular, you're not as feminine. It's like, okay, yeah, really? Let's in 2025. Come on now. But as an athlete, I think, especially with soccer, high intensity all the time. Yeah. I've always stayed pretty lean, right? So I've never really gotten to experience what having more weight on me, more meat on my bones, as the Trinidad will say, is like. Yeah. So I really enjoy the bulking aspect of it. I think the important thing when it comes to the body image and the changing of a body, especially a woman's body during these times, is don't look at the scale or don't focus on the scale. Yes, you might have to make weight, but that's the only reason you should be looking at that number. Okay. It does not matter as much. It's more about how you feel about yourself. And you should always try to enjoy how you look in every moment. And that's honestly what I'm trying to do, is take advantage of it. Yeah. Because when else am I going to look this way? Yeah. You know? When else am I going to be so shredded that I'm literally have a six pack? Like, yeah, I love it. Okay. And I totally agree about kind of like decentering the scale. I mean, yes, like if, you know, in your sport, you might have to make weight, but it's kind of taking the almost like the emotion out of that experience kind of as much as you can, whereas you're focusing more on, like you said, like feeling fantastic, like in your body as you're moving and things like that. Yeah. Do you feel like there's a separation between how you kind of feel in your body when you're in sport versus out of it? When I'm in sport, I know that I'm strong. When I'm not, I'm just chilling. So it's almost like you take on a different persona. You live a normal life. And I say normal because what do we say like a non-athletic regular? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that before. I get to do that. Yeah. So there's not really a moment where it feels out of place. Okay. It's just like a different experience. Yeah. And it sounds like you have like an appreciation towards the body as well, which is great. Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to try everything. Like if you look at my hairstyles, they change. I've done almost everything. Okay. Right. So it's the same thing with my body. I'm gonna try everything. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Well, think about hairstyles actually. What's the best way to have your hair for fighting? I guess you're not grabbing hair in boxing. No, you do have to have your hair back and out of the way. Okay. So typically I would have I put a buff over my head and then I put an elastic at the back because the headgear also has to close in over top of it. Right. Okay. So that sort of keeps it in place. I know a lot of people sort of do braids and then wrap the braid up. So there's no braid sort of like swishing around as you're spinning or whatnot.
Yeah.
Things like that. Just get it out of the way.
I say I have very long hair and I have a lot of hair. And like I just, when my hair is braided, it even still goes like down my back and it's like I can't wouldn't want that to be.
Yeah. So you probably do some like maybe 2 braids or multiple braids and then like wrap it up.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. So what does recovery from a weekend of fighting look like for you?
It is all sleep and maybe some eating. Okay. If I have energy to eat. Okay. I think after a weekend, I'm always so depleted. Like I've given everything. Yeah. And just exhausted. And I will come home and I'll sleep for hours. Yeah. I think you probably won't hear from me. If I manage to get up to eat a meal or to get an errand done, maybe it's put laundry in. That's like a huge win for me. Yeah. So really it's just about recovering and resting as much as possible. Yeah. I mean, and then, you've got to go to work on Monday. So it's kind of maximize that recovery, I guess, as best you can. Yeah. That's why you got to sleep. Yeah. Before you do anything else. I'm learning how to sort of stagger things that need to be done throughout the weeks as well. Because I was always a person that, okay, weekend is for all the errands. That doesn't work when you're working full time and you're trying to train full time. So it's about getting something done a little bit every day of those errands that just make it so much easier and also gives me the time on the weekend to recover as much as I can. Because I mean, at the end of the day, that's going to be the bigger demand. You could get something else done on maybe Monday afternoon or something like that. Yeah. So I'm going to pivot completely now. Okay. But back in October of 2024, I think it was your first half marathon that you did, the TCS Toronto Waterfront. How did you navigate kind of getting ready for that race? And how did the experience go compared to what you expected from the race? So that's funny because I never intended to run it. Yes. I remember it was like a few weeks before, I think. Yeah. A couple weeks before we were at Run Club, and I remember hearing them say, it's gonna go fast, so someone claim it. So I put my hand up, had no idea what I was getting. Turned out to be a half marathon bib. Yeah. But that was great. It was a shock. Imagine if it was just like a free t-shirt or something that you could have. That's what I was hoping for. Like a free sweat. Yeah, absolutely. But no, it was good. Good challenge for me because I've never run more than 10 kilometers before. So I think I did a test run a couple days after claiming that bib. Okay. And that was so difficult. Did you do a full half at that point? No, I think I did 19. Okay. So if you can do 19, you can. It's just where the route took me. Like, okay, it's finishing at a 19. Yeah. I was only supposed to run, I think, 15 or 16. Okay. I had asked Lauren, the leader of the group, and I was like, what do I do to prepare for this? Yeah. Given this time crunch, what do we do? Yeah. How do we do this? So I ended up running the 19. My gosh, I could hardly walk after. Yeah. And to this day, like my toes, like when there's too much impact on your toes, how your toenails can fall off and stuff. And that's a very bad picture. So I apologize to everyone. But definitely I had some of that. Wow. And my toes are still recovering. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. But knowing how difficult that was and feeling my knees as well, because that's why I never used to run long distances, because all the soccer injuries, my knees, like I was really scared about that. Sure. And I felt the times during the run, I was so conscious of, okay, what pace am I running at? What distance am I at? What am I feeling right now? Yeah. That practice run helped because I knew what I might feel at certain points. Yeah. And then it was all about hydrating before the race. I was literally drinking bottles of water with like tablespoons of salt added to it for days. I'm like, I need to be hydrated. Yeah. I need to stretch. I need to roll. Yeah. Need to eat properly. Yes. Right. So focus really heavily on that. And then come race day, it was a breeze. I was gonna say, I saw you run by and I was like, she looks like she's having a great time. It was so easy. Yeah. And like no pain afterwards, no pain during. Okay. I felt so good. Yeah. I'm like, at the end, I felt like I can run again. I'm like, what just happened? I didn't push hard enough, clearly, because even though we got a great time, like this was too easy. But I think it was really just a result of all the preparation, that hydration, the food, everything. Yeah. Like Yeah, I think I stressed myself out a little bit too much for it, but because of that, the result was really good.
Okay. Do you think you'd do it again, and would you approach it the same kind of way?
I definitely would do another half marathon race since then I have run a half marathon, just not race form.
Yeah.
I was even considering maybe trying a full marathon.
Okay.
Without training.
Okay.
How do we think that one will go?
I mean, knowing you, I think you'll find a way for the sake of your toenails. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'll definitely do some more races. With boxing picking up right now, I'm not too sure how many I'll squeeze in there. I'm still going to squeeze them in. But we'll see. We'll see if I train for it or if I just spontaneously
just decide. Maybe someone will sell a bib again.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, if you decide to do the Toronto one again, we've got a few months now beforehand.
Oh, so Toronto, let's do for sure.
Plenty of time. Yeah. It was that day was so much fun too. Just like getting to see you run by, that was so fun because we were tracking your bib and like seeing, because you were with a group of the people from our run club, and it was so fun and inspiring, honestly. Especially knowing how quick of a turnaround it was for you, going from, oh God, what did I just agree to now crushing it. Yeah. In the first one that you'd ever done.
It was a great experience. I would say running the race, the vibe was incredible.
Yeah.
So many people out cheering, like, and running by you guys. Your faces are so encouraging. You're like, oh my gosh, we're coming up to them, guys. We're coming up. There they are. It gave us such an extra boost to keep going. So thank you guys for being there. We really appreciated that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was so much fun. As a person, I've never done that far of a distance. I've run 16K was the longest I've done.
Yeah.
And I would do a half, I think.
You're almost there.
Yeah, I think it's been a while since I've done the 16K, but I think I could get myself to do it again, and I would like to at some point. I'd like to do a full one at some point as well. But yeah, I mean, just cheering for everybody and seeing everyone go by was really exciting. And it was hard on us too. Some of us like hurt our wrists with the cowbells. All right, so
I can imagine the blisters and the voice. Probably lost your voice as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but hey, I mean, that's nothing compared to actually doing the race. Like, I've really no place to complain. So
it's debatable. Which way.
I shouldn't complain.
I don't know. I've cheered for some races and I've been pretty exhausted afterwards. Yeah. So I understand what you guys went through.
Well, and I guess so, you were running with a group of people. And obviously there were pockets of places along the route where there were more people kind of cheering along. I know that when I was getting ready to leave the race, I was kind of walking along some of the route, and there were places where there were very few, if anybody, cheering along the route. What's in your head at those spots?
Well, I luckily had music.
Okay.
I always had my music in.
Yeah.
But I do know some people ran without the music.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been the more difficult moments for them.
Yeah. Because it wasn't early in the race that there was...
Yeah, no, it dwindled down a little bit near the end by the split.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for anyone that ran the full marathon, I know that back end probably didn't have anyone. So good on them for doing that.
That's tough, yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, I use music to support me. It's motivation. I've got some motivational speeches going. I've got songs that say you're a champion, you can do this.
Okay.
Always something supportive in the background as well.
Who are you listening to?
Oh, I don't know artist names. I don't know the song titles either. I just know the messages.
Okay. And the speeches too. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So I know for speeches, I do listen to a lot of Eric Thomas.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure for that race, I had some different ones.
Okay.
I had found some new ones just because after I know a speech, it's like, is it really doing the same thing?
Effect.
So I got some new ones
for pacing yourself. You get to. I remember when I was in high school, there would be. I used to think of things like because I was listening to music, but like I would think of things like in terms of like a song length, like however long it took me. Like if I take a shower, I'm like, that's 5 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was really into Justin Timberlake in high school, and I remember there was one of his songs on the album that was like 8.5 minutes or something. I was like, okay, so if I just listen to this twice while I do this, that really gets me here. And like it was kind of the girl math of breaking things up a little bit. Yeah. So maybe a speech could work like that if you're familiar enough with it. You're like, oh, he's here. Like we got time. Like
yeah.
But that's so interesting. When I'm running, I need either the social time element of it, or music just so loud into my brain.
Yeah. There were times when I couldn't even hear my music because the cheering was so loud.
Yeah. Sorry.
So And it's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It shows me that maybe I don't necessarily need music.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was really good. And running with the group as well, you know, being able to have conversations during those quieter times. So really good.
That's amazing. I was so proud of you on that day. It was so great. What's the greatest benefit to your day-to-day life that comes from sports?
Discipline, hard work, the consistency and seeing it all pay off. I think those are things that you really develop when you play sports. And if you carry that into your day-to-day life, you can be very successful. There's also just integrity and accountability that comes with it. You're gonna be putting in work when no one's watching you, no one can see it, but you know what the end result will be, and staying true and honest to yourself, for sure helps me in my day-to-day as well.
That's amazing. Oh, that's inspiring. That idea that it's like, you know, we don't always need to do things for the benefit of somebody seeing it, you know, because in the long run, the benefits and the values be there. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So we're gonna go into some kind of general questions now. Growing up, who were your role models in sports?
It's Allison Felix.
Okay.
Yeah. First off, she's a Black woman. She's beautiful, she's strong, she's successful. And I loved seeing the work ethic that she had and what she's done for the sport. And honestly, that's the type of role model that I try to be. Yeah. So she definitely was inspiring to me as a kid. Yeah.
What would you say to her if you could meet her?
Honestly, probably just thank you and well done. I'm just so happy that she was able to, like, she had a child and she came back so quick and she proved everyone wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like that is inspiring. That took guts because, like we were talking about before, there were so many barriers. Yeah. And having a kid, having a family, that's one of them.
That's a huge one. Yeah.
Right. And she overcame that. So she's showing us that it is possible and you can stand up for yourself. Right. You can still keep your sponsorships. You can put in the work and it will pay off. Yeah. So yeah, just thank you and well done.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And this is, I'm very interested to hear this question, as I know you're a person who likes trying new sports. Okay. If you knew that you would be good at it, what new sport would you try?
It's probably a couple because I want to try everything. Yeah. But running track would be one of them. Okay. I used to do it in high school. So sprints. Okay. 100, 200, the relay 4x1. Would love to do that. But at the same time, I also love speed, which track has speed in it. Yes. But more specifically, driving. So race car driving. Like, I can't tell you how many speeding tickets I have because when I was driving, I would always imagine myself in a race car, be like,
yeah.
So yeah.
Not exactly what you want outside of, you know, downtown Ottawa, but
but you know, if I had the opportunity, I would definitely try that.
Okay. And then, you know, if you knew you'd be good at it, like, would be worth it. Yeah.
Even if I wouldn't be good at it, I would want to do it anyways.
Fair. Yeah. It's such an interesting one because that one is so mental. Yes. You know what I mean? Like because you're not really quote unquote doing anything with your body. Yeah. But you've got to be locked in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's an extra element of fear that comes into play when you're at such high speeds and you're going around those bends and you can feel the torque and everything. Just to be able to accept it for what it is and keep sticking to your game plan because if you don't, something might happen. Yeah. Okay, so definitely I want to try that.
That would be so fun. I hope you do get to try that sometime and just tell me how it goes.
I did discover that there is like some racetrack here in Toronto. Not necessarily the actual fast cars, but like karting racetracks.
Yeah. Oh, there must be.
I'm bringing the girls to it. We're doing a racing day.
Racing day. That'd be fun. I'm up for it. Sign me up. So thinking about a moment or achievement that stands out to you, either inside or outside of sports that you'll carry with you, calling that a gold medal moment. What's been your gold medal moment?
Well, literally my Brampton Cup gold medal.
There's that.
That was a moment when I proved to myself that I could actually do it.
Yeah.
you know, even though everyone else believed in me before, like when I was still training, they're like, oh yeah, you've got this. You're gonna win. Like, what are you guys talking about? These girls are so much more experienced than me. How do you see that? I didn't see it. But that was a huge moment. It was recognition for myself, reiterating that yes, my hard work paid off, proving it to myself, believe I have that tattooed on me. I finally do believe that, yeah, maybe I can actually be good at this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was just so proud to bring the gold medal home to my team and to my coaches.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, I knew that I didn't win that alone. Like we really did that as a team, and it was more of a win for us as opposed to just me.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever felt that feeling before.
Wow.
So that would be my moment.
What hopes do you have, and what changes do you want to see for the future of women's sport?
Well, I definitely want high level sports to be accessible to everyone, right? And let's just talk about the Olympics. I want every sport to be there for a woman.
Yeah.
Like they should have high level that they can achieve too. Like,
yeah,
you know, the option should always be there. But in addition to that, definitely we want the pay to be a little bit more even, please, or it should be even.
Yes. I agree.
Step by step, we'll get there. But yeah. And then the supports and the respect. We just need to create opportunity. We saw it a lot in soccer, not having opportunity for women to play.
Yeah.
And we're seeing even for boxing, right? There's not as many women in boxing. For me to find fights, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Which is why we have to always change weight. You gotta go to a higher weight to find an opponent.
Right.
Right? Like this shouldn't be the case. Everyone should be able to do the sport and compete and have opportunities and have support systems behind them to be successful at it. So that would be my hope. Yeah, just to have it accessible and for everyone.
I totally agree, especially on the pay equity of women's sports. What message would you like to share with girls in sports who are thinking about trying boxing?
Do it. A big fat do it. Honestly, like it's gonna keep you in shape, yes, but you're gonna discover so much about yourself. You're gonna discover a strength within you that you did not know was there. You're gonna feel so empowered by knowing that, hey, yeah, I can take the hit. I can defend myself. I'm capable of doing this, right? So honestly, just do it. It might seem scary, but start small and have fun with it.
Yeah. Having fun in sports, I think, is so important for young girls, and then maybe the specialization comes later. But like having fun in sports, having fun moving your body is so important.
Yes, yes.
Well, is there anything coming up that you'd like to share about?
Yes, we actually have the Fight to End Cancer Gala, which is coming up on May 31st. Now, FTech was founded in 2021. That's the short form for Fight to End Cancer. And all donations are like 100% are given to the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. So far, we've had over 3.5 million donated, which is amazing. So I am loving this cause. I'm loving this organization, Fight to End Cancer. They're doing such great work. So definitely that's coming up. You can sponsor athletes as well for it, which is really great, or you can just donate, your choice. But apart from that, if you can't make the May 31st, there are fights all year round to try to end cancer. So that's what I would recommend. Try to make it out.
Cancer. Yeah. Amazing. And where can people go to stay in touch with you and see what you're up to?
Probably Instagram is the best one. The most in the moment updates will be on Instagram. Andrea.young11.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
We'll write it in there too.
Yeah. You know, it's not often that you have to write out what you're
yeah, that's true.
And then I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you want to see sort of what my career is like outside of sports, that would be another place to go and see. Again, it's Andrea Young. Search it up. You'll find me there. Yeah. But yeah, because there's a whole other side to all of us, right?
There is. And you have a very interesting job too.
I do. I have an interesting job. And I try to get extracurriculars in that field as well, and mentoring, those sorts of things. So there'll be lots on there too.
Fantastic. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for all of this. This was so interesting, and I'm so grateful to be your friend. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
A huge, huge, huge thank you to Andrea for joining me for this episode of Gold Medal Girls. You can find her on Instagram at andrea.young11, which is also written in the description of the episode. And I also want to say a huge thank you to Josh Halliday for the Gold Medal Girls music, and also to the Women's Sports Podcast Network. Last and certainly not least, thank you for listening to episode freaking 3 of Gold Medal Girls. Please rate and review the show wherever you watch or listen. You can give us a follow on social media at goldmedalgirlspod on Instagram and at Gold Medal Girls on TikTok. I super appreciate it. You can also visit goldmedalgirls.com for more information about the show, and you can email at goldmedalgirlspod@gmail.com if you're a woman in sports who would like to be on the show. We'll see you next time.